Let's move on to discussing the assessment itself. Scott, what are the main types of evidence that assessors are looking for maybe to collect during an assessment?
Yeah, it's a good question. It really is the basis for your certification, because just because you think you have something in place, or you've made your best effort to put something in place, let's say, or maybe you misunderstood something and you don't quite have it in place until you don't discover that you've misunderstood it until the assessment. Mm-hmm. That would be a kind of a bad thing, but I would imagine that happens. That happens a lot in ISO audits. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the CMMC assessment appears that it's going to be much more detailed, much more in depth, shall we say, than an ISO audit. However, I'm going to pat ourselves on the head here, just a minute, on the back. We passed our recertification for ISO 9001 and ISO 27001 this week. Our auditor was in our office going through and looking for objective evidence, mm-hmm. and having to note examples of our compliance to ISO. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a similar approach used with CMMC assessors, but at the same time, it goes a step further into the assessment objectives. So it's if you've gone through ISO audits, you've got to recognize that it's a layer or two deeper, mm-hmm. that this assessment is going to go into, and you're going to have to demonstrate. It has to be demonstrable. And so that's part of the thought process and preparation is, can I show examples of compliance to this assessment objective and that assessment objective? What are we going to demonstrate? How are we going to answer? What are we going to show? You got to get it down to very practical terms so that you're well prepared when the assessor comes in. So they'll look for certainly documentation, things like policies, procedures, plans, records. There will be documentation that will be requested. Of course, if you don't have it prepared, it'll be hard to produce it in the moment. So certainly you've got to pay attention to documentation. You've got to pay attention to how you're going to show that your systems are set up properly or configured, mm-hmm. properly, or have the right controls in place, that your infrastructure is properly set up and built out so that it provides the protections that need to be shown to the assessor. So they'll often ask you to pull up on your screen an example of this, or show me how you control the access of a certain user to a certain system. How do you prevent unauthorized access? And it's not just about what you say, it's about what you can demonstrate. Mm-hmm. That's going to make the difference here. Yeah. There will be interviews. So some of this will be verbal. And there will be evaluation, I guess you could say, to see if in fact your technical staff, your management, or your employees, all of those who handle CUI, could be asked questions about how their process works, mm-hmm. what the steps they've got to follow, what are their security practices and policies in place for the company. Mm-hmm. That's a way of confirming that you've in fact deployed, implemented, done the training, and prepared your employees to work properly, work securely with CUI. So interviews not only of your experts, but of your employees, anyone who can access or handle or prepare or edit or utilize CUI. Those are the people that mm-hmm. you've got to have well prepared. And I think that training and communication is really important. They'll observe various processes. How do you handle it if there's an incident, security incident? Okay, show me what the steps would be. How would you record it? How would you protect the data that needs to be protected, mm-hmm. so you can provide it in an incident response investigation? Yeah. So there's just every control and every assessment objective, you've got to think it through as to what are we going to show and tell and demonstrate to show that we've clearly met the requirement. You don't want any ambiguity to the degree possible. I mean, of course, this is other people interpreting what you've done, so there's always going to be that aspect of it. But if you don't even know what the answer is, you don't know what you're going to show, there's probably no chance you're going to get a met, check mark on that objective if you're not even clear how to show what you need to show and explain what you need to explain.
Thank you for watching this video to the end. This is part of a longer series on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC compliance produced by Core Business Solutions. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video with a thumbs up, and click the bell to get notified when we drop a new video. Also, we'd appreciate it if you would share this video with your colleagues who need to stay up to speed on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC. Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next video.